about Tantra lineages. Tantra has an ancient and glorious history, but Tantra is not confined to simply the past. It is also very alive in the present, and hopefully it will be alive long into the future. Because as long as human beings are alive and breathing, we can practice Tantra. There is a living bridge from ancient Tantra into today's world. So I'll just speak a little bit into some of the ancient Tantra lineages and how the threads continue weaving themselves in a glorious tapestry even today. There is firstly Kashmiri Tantra. In Kashmiri Tantra, in ancient times, Kashmir was a melting pot through the Silk Road of many diverse traditions, peoples, cultures, and that included different kinds of spiritual practices. So as people came from China or Tibet or coming from Europe and crossing along this Silk Road, they were exchanging ideas, cultures, and methods. So in Kashmir, a unique form of Tantra arose, which involved and included everything that is available in terms of spirituality, spiritual development. It is a path which honors equally the feminine path of love and devotion and the masculine path of meditation and witnessing, blending these together into a wonderful harmony of opposites. In the tradition of Tantra in Kashmir, couples are honored, and the couple's path, traveling the spiritual path together, is an incredible resource and possibility offered through Kashmiri Tantra. There is a leading light in terms of Kashmiri Tantra, Abhivana Gupta. He was an incredible enlightened being who gave so much precious wealth in terms of methodology, practice, and how to integrate Tantra into one's daily life. So he actually was preaching that Tantra is accessible to all, that you don't have to be a renunciate in order to have the benefits of Tantra. So in this sense, even kings could come and learn Tantra. Any person from any walk of life could be included on the Tantra path. And in fact, the Nath tradition, which is prevalent in Kashmir, doesn't believe in the caste system. The caste system, which has been continuing in India or in different Eastern cultures, has in a sense crippled the possibility of spirituality to be available to all. It used to be so rigid that certain classes of people were not allowed to have access to scriptures. But in Tantra, they broke all that down and said spirituality is available to one and all. And so this was a radical shift. And it might be interesting for some people to know that it is said that when Jesus was in India, living in India, that he was actually initiated by a Nath Tantra guru, a guru from the Nath Tantra tradition, and that he himself was against the caste system, which got him into a lot of trouble in India, and he literally had to escape and go back to Israel, where again he got into trouble, as we know from all the stories prevalent about Christianity. But it is a very, very powerful and potent tradition, and one which I am deeply aligned with, because I really have a tremendous love affair with Tantra as a path of spiritual liberation for men and for women and for couples. And I really love to offer this path. Now, of course, from Kashmir, Tantra also spread to other cultures. And there is another path in India which is called Tantra Yoga. Tantra Yoga is more honoring the masculine path rather than the feminine. It's all about igniting the fire of our life force energy, raising it up the spine, piercing through any stagnation in the chakra system, opening to super consciousness states. So, in this tradition, of course, the energies of male and female are utilized. However, there's a kind of belief system in this path that one should not fall in love. One should not indulge in romantic attachment because that is thought to impede the path. However, by doing so, that is pushing away the feminine qualities of love and devotion, which are very natural for the feminine. So, in my understanding, this path is not a holistic path of Tantra, it is one sided. And therefore, I don't consider it to be completely tantric because Tantra, in essence, is embracing the masculine path of witnessing and meditation, the feminine path of love and devotion, and weaving these together in an alchemy of unity. And this is where the true splendor of Tantra can be felt. There is another lineage in Tantra which is called the lineage of the Bowel mystics. Now, the Bowel mystics are wandering minstrels. They sing and they dance. They don't have any fixed abode. They move with the wind. And this particular lineage is linked to a great Tantra master named Saraha. Saraha was in the tradition of the Buddhism, and then he got together with a tantric woman who initiated him onto the path of Tantra. He became an ecstatic, enlightened master of Tantra, and he converted an entire country to practice Tantra. And it is said in those times when Saraha's teachings were so alive that the whole country was as if walking on air. People were so elevated, so high, so blissed out that the whole country was throbbing and pulsing with inner ecstasy and bliss. Because Saraha was associated with the royal family, and through that he could influence the king, the queen, and the entire kingdom. So these were glorious days. And then his teaching spread into the Bowel mystic tradition. It metamorphosed in a way into that tradition because at a certain point Tantra had to go underground because of political, religious persecution. And so the Bowel mystics disguised themselves as wandering minstrels, but their teachings are deeply tantric. And that tradition is very much alive and well today in Bengal, India. And this is simply miraculous and amazing that they have kept those traditions and those teachings vibrantly alive. And even today, you can come in contact with Bowel mystics, with Bowel masters, and be highly benefited. There is another lineage called Agori Tantra, and they are particularly focusing on transcendence of death. They will do such practices as drinking out of human skulls or meditating on dead bodies or bodies that are burning and witnessing the phenomena of death and utilizing that to open into a state of transcendence. This is a very powerful and valid path of Tantra, and it is unfortunate that certain aspects of this path have turned towards black magic. So it's just good to be aware if you are feeling called to that path, to be very alert and to avoid the aspect which would go into black magic. The reason why black magic came into this path is because those practitioners of this path who wanted to attain immortality found different ways and methods, some of which are not ethical in terms of protecting human life. So, this is why I'm saying just be aware if you are going towards this path. However, there are some aspects of it which are absolutely exquisite and opening us into more potential than we could have ever dreamed was possible. There is a wonderful book which is describing this path, which is called Kali's Odhya. And so I will put this book in the resources, and it's really interesting to read. And also books about the Bowel mystics, about Abhimanyu and his lineage. So all of that you will find in the resources. There's another lineage of Tantra which is present in Tibet. Now, in ancient times, what you had in Tibet was the Bon tradition, which was the indigenous religion of Tibet. And then that met with Buddhism, and those two also met with Tantra. So these three streams came together into what is known today as Tibetan Tantra. Now, one lineage of Tibetan Tantra is what is referred to as White Tantra. That's a lineage followed by the Dalai Lama. And it's using primarily visualization. So, in that stream of Tantra, people will not do partner exercises and meditations with a living, embodied person. They will do it all through visualization. This is a valid path, very powerful, extraordinary. There's another path in Tibetan Tantra where you do practices with a living partner. And this is absolutely awesome. And if you want to look more deeply into that, you could look into the story of the great master Padma Sambhava. Padma Sambhava was born in India, and he was doing practices in a cave with the daughter of a king. The king got very angry, came and wanted to kill him. And eventually, because of Padmasambhava's miraculous powers, the king surrendered and offered his daughter to him. But then Padmasambhava and the daughter went to Tibet, settled there, and a king in Tibet offered one of his wives to Padmasambhava. So he was working with two consorts, and he literally became enlightened, and his consort also became enlightened while doing Tantra practices together. Padmasambhava is greatly revered in Tibet as the second Buddha. He was an absolutely awesome, powerful master. And I have meditated in the cave in India and also in a place in Ladakh where he used to meditate and do practices with his consort. The power of that place is simply phenomenal. You can still feel the presence of Padmasambhava even today. Tantra also spread to China and became what is known as Taoist Tantra. Now, in the Chinese Taoist approach to life, they are looking for longevity and immortality. So, Tantra practices there were focusing on how to achieve maximum longevity, how to ascend into the realm of the immortals through the Tantra practice. They developed this to a very refined art, and it also blended with Chinese medicine, with Chinese medical doctors prescribing methods of coitus, which could be used to achieve healing. and longevity. And this is an absolutely mind blowing tradition that really works with great precision on how to circulate energy in the body using breath, using different kind of mudras, postures, and how to really master your chi, the circulation of your vital life force energy. There are myriad different paths in the great Tantra tree of life. And if we want to look in a way which is really holistic, we can see that yoga, tantra, and Ayurveda are deeply linked because these are three branches of the tree of life that help the human being in all of our aspects to come into wholeness, to achieve enlightenment while in this body, and to spread the benefits of that into our life and for the benefit of all beings. Now, my story of lineages would not be complete unless I also mention a great master by the name of Goraknath. He was born in Nepal and he spread his teachings into India. He was instrumental in the building of the Khajuraho temples, living scriptures in stone, where you can go into the temples and you can literally feel and sense the living transmission of this tremendously great master and his disciples who refined the art of Tantra in a way which is beyond all of our concepts of what is possible for human beings. Now, Goraknath was also the creator of the path of Hatha Yoga. So he was weaving together yoga practices and Tantra. And this is something which used to be very prevalent. And I believe in today's world, this is becoming increasingly prevalent again, the weaving together of Tantra and yoga. And it's right that it should be so. And if we can add to that the whole tradition of Ayurveda and bring these together, we will be going in a very good direction for ourselves and also for humanity. Now, Osho is a modern day Tantra master. Osho has spoken on so many different Tantra masters, their teachings, and brought us new understandings about Tantra in a way that is relevant for our contemporary world. So he's basically bringing the very essence and spirit of Tantra, packaging it in a way which modern humanity can relate to, can understand, can absorb, and can use to transform ourselves. His very approach to spirituality was deeply steeped in Tantra. And those people who have been close to Osho, who have absorbed his teaching, many of them are powerful tantrikas who can share this kind of methodology and help people to awaken. There is a wonderful friend who lives in Khajuraho. His name is Swami Ganga. He received a direct transmission from Osho. He met Osho when he was a teenager and he was a guide in the Khajuraho temples. And Osho was visiting Khajuraho perhaps hundreds of times. He used to love to go there and meditate. And Swami Ganga was his guide. And as Swami Ganga was guiding him in the temples, actually, Osho was giving incredible transmission of Tantra to Swami Ganga. So Swami Ganga is a living embodiment of Tantra principles and knowledge, wisdom. So when he offers a tour of Khajuraho, you get much more than just seeing the physical temples. You will receive an actual living transmission of Tantra through him. So it's really beautiful to visit Khajuraho, to meet Swami Ganga. And actually, I'm so much in love with Khajuraho, and also I love Swami Ganga. So I'm making a documentary, and this documentary is coming soon, all about Swami Ganga's teaching, his offering, and how The Osho connection of Tantra is making itself known through him. There is a lineage in today's world called Sky Dancing Tantra, which has been brought to the world by Margot Anand. She connected very deeply, not only with Osho, but also with Padma Sambhava. So she is carrying this very powerful streams that are meeting in and through her. She's offering an incredible path to the world, which she calls Sky Dancing Tantra. She is still teaching, and many of her students are teaching. Her work is widely available, and this is a valid and exquisite Tantra path. And then, of course, I'm also offering Tantra, which is deeply inspired by Osho's teachings. I was in his community for 26 years, 16 years in his physical presence, absorbing the very essence of Tantra. And it is my joy to spread this to all beings in a way which can be absorbed deeply and profoundly for today's world. There is a special book which I encourage everybody to read who's interested in Tantra. This is the Book of Secrets by Osho. In this book, he's describing the 112 methods of tantric meditation, which are contained in the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, a scripture which is at least 5,000 years old, and before that was an oral tradition. So if you're interested in Tantra, read this book. And of course, there are many other books by Osho and other authors which will be powerfully inspiring. And I include a list of some of those books in the resources. Check it out. And blessings on your Tantra path. For people who are critically ill, Tantra can be such an amazing support because there are many methods that you can do even laying down in your bed, in silence, within yourself. And what I would suggest, if you are the caregiver of a person who's critically ill, that you begin reading the Book of Secrets by Osho. There are 112 methods of meditation in that book. Many of them can be done by someone who is ill, as well of course, by healthy people. You will get inspired because there's some methods which are working with breath. And breath is one of the best ways that we can work when we are ill. Witnessing the breath in different forms, different ways of observing the breath. And through witnessing and observing our breath, we come deeply into present moment awareness. And it is through present moment awareness that we open into eternity. So breath is the rainbow bridge into eternity. And some of the methods are so exquisite and will be deeply nurturing for the person who is ill, laying in bed, maybe even on their deathbed. One of the simplest methods that you can do is simply witnessing the breath coming in and out. Now, if you are a man, it's very helpful to witness the breath coming in and out of the nostrils. If you are a woman, witnessing the breath rising and falling in the lower belly. Contemplate on the fact that in-breath represents life, out-breath represents death. In-breath is yang, out-breath is yin. We have both of these circulating inside of us at all times. Life and death, in-breath, out-breath, or birth and death, night and day, all these different opposites are contained in the breath: sun, moon, man, woman. So as you witness your breath coming in and out, you are blending opposite polarities together. And this is a basic Tantra principle. Weave together opposite polarities. In the meeting of those opposites, you will find godliness. You will find the divine. So your loved one who is in bed ill, who is perhaps on their deathbed, can be highly benefited. And if you are sitting next to this person, practice the meditation with them. So whatever that breath meditation or other meditation that you choose is, you can just sit by their side, practice the meditation with them. You will come into coherent harmony with this person, and they will be hugely supported in opening into eternity with the presence of a loved one there. So don't waste any time. Get the Book of Secrets by Osho. Read it. Use it as inspiration. Begin offering some of these methods to your loved one. And of course, practicing these methods yourself. And whenever you get a chance, if you can come to a live course, Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, which I'm teaching, please do this, because it is truly the resource of a lifetime. It is amazing. These methods are miraculous. They help us to access every aspect of living and dying. This is a very important question for anybody who is in a couple, because if you think about it, each person is unique. Each person has their own unique soul calling. And what we are doing in life in regards to love is trying different kinds of love experiments according to our own unique soul calling. And it sometimes happens that the soul calling in a couple will be different with one partner or another partner. And that also depends on your karmic pattern. What happened in your past life? Maybe somebody was a monk in their past life, celibate monk. So in this life, they want to explore with multiple partners because they're trying to catch up with something they didn't live in their past. It can also happen that somebody was very licentious in their past life, and in this life they feel like being just with one partner, they want to go deeper. Now these discrepancies can also happen throughout one's life, that at some point you want to play the field, you want to have multi different kind of adventures, experiences. Another time you feel pulled to go into deep monogamy, to find out how is it possible to be one with another human being, and is this truly possible? This is an amazing dimension of research. It is a love experiment which is absolutely sublime. At another time in your life, you might feel called to being celibate, to try out how is it if I'm in a deep love affair with myself and with the whole of existence, the whole of nature, and I don't need to rely on another person, but I want to find out what it is to be in union with my inner male, inner female. So these are all different kinds of research which become very important at one stage or other in the life. And each person needs to honor and respect their unique soul calling in this respect. Now, as we are flowing in our life, it's not good to get stuck in one pattern just from the mind. We need to remain open to what is coming through us from the soul level. Some people believe I must be monogamous and they cling to it very rigidly. That could become a form of stagnation. Somebody else might be into polyamory and they clinging to that rigidly, thinking this is the only way and all human beings should be like this. This is also a form of stagnation. So, what I'm trying to convey is human beings need to be more open, more fluid to what is their truth that's coming through them. What is your love experiment that you need to explore at this time in this way? Now, if there is a couple who loves and adores each other, but one of the partners feels the need to explore with others, and the other partner doesn't feel to do that, this can create huge waves of conflict in the couple, leading to divorce or leading to separation. If you love each other and you want to avoid this happening, then I recommend making very clear container for this particular love experiment. So that means that you can devise a timeline which works for both of you. For example, maybe you say, okay, we're going to be completely monogamous for 1 month, then we're going to have 1 week where everybody is flowing and doing whatever they feel to do in this moment. Of course, if you want to come back to your couple, it means you need to be responsible, practice safe sex, and be very honoring and respectful of each other. During that time apart, it would be my recommendation that you don't have any contact with each other. So each one feels that you are in your own space, you're doing exactly as you need to do, it's your free flow. And that doesn't mean that both partners need to go out with other partners. Maybe one partner just wants to go on a beautiful beach holiday, hang out, rest, read books, and recharge. And maybe the other partner wants to go to some play parties or experience what it is to go dancing with others, to flirt, maybe even to have love stories, love affairs. And that is your time to experience that. Now, maybe for some other couple, they say, no, we want to be monogamous for 3 months and then we'll have 1 month off and then we come back together. Still, other couples might say, okay, we want to have 1 year only monogamous and then we will take 1 week off and then we come back and we find out, is it true for us to continue our love relationship? In fact, in the past, for about 10,000 years, there is a wonderful way of marriage that was happening in Ireland and England, in different places in Europe. And this was called hand fasting. So the couple would get married for a year and a day, and they would have some beautiful ribbons or threads tied around their wrist, a ceremony to symbolize the hand fasting. It would be a wonderful and nurturing agreement that now we are a committed and bonded pair for 1 year and 1 day. At the end of that time, there would be something called Beltane, where a small fire would be lit all around the village, and people would jump over the fire into the wild forest. And in the wild forest, they would become wild. They could do whatever they wanted, see whoever they wanted, make love with whoever they wanted. After 3 days, they would come back, jump over the fire back into the village, and then they would continue their life together or not. So they would meet again, they would decide, do we want to continue as a couple or not? If they wanted to continue, they would again have a hand fasting ceremony for another year and a day. Now, I think this is a very sane way of having a model for relationship. This is absolutely incredible because it gives space to the fact that human beings are not always going to be monogamous. And that is proven again and again throughout history. We see that people stray. They're not always going to be fixed. Now, some people, they meet and they feel, this is it. This is me for life, bonded with this person. They feel very contented, very happy, like two swans that mate for life. If this happens, beautiful. If it doesn't happen, that's also beautiful. be creative, be respectful, be honoring of what is the soul calling of each individual. Now, if you go into the experiment of open relationship and you are having these clear agreements, it's really important to honor that completely and fully, to be very, very honest with each other. So if you're in the monogamous phase, you need to be completely into it, really honoring, even worshiping your partner, loving each other on all levels, being completely devoted, being in totality with the love experiment of merging fully and deeply with another person. If you are in your phase of having space, be totally in it. Don't just mope at home. I wonder what my partner is doing. Poor me, misery. Find out, if I could do anything I like in this moment, what would it be? And live it fully and totally. If you live your freedom fully and totally, chances are when you come back together, you will really long to go even more deeply into your love experiment together. So, this is my advice, that you make clear agreements, clear container for these different kinds of love experiment. In this way, it's possible that your love can continue long into the future. And I wish you every blessing on that path. So, what I'm getting out of your question is, you want me to encapsulate the entire Tantra path in a short answer. So, I'll try my best. Meditation is the path of witnessing. We become a witness to any different kind of phenomena that are happening in us and through us at any given moment. So we're bringing a witnessing consciousness to these different phenomena. That could be witnessing your breath. It could be witnessing your mind, the thoughts that are passing by in the mind. It could be witnessing your emotions. It could be witnessing different kind of sensations in your body. And as we are in this witnessing consciousness, it's as if we are standing on a hill, looking down into the valley, seeing some bullock cart passing down in the valley, or seeing a car or a scooter passing by, and we're simply witnessing, seeing that passing of something down below. So in other words, we're having a bird's eye view of our different life experiences. This witnessing consciousness could as easily be utilized while drinking a cup of tea, or walking in the nature, maybe sitting on a train, maybe sitting in meditation with a straight back, maybe laying down. So there's meditations that can be practiced in any kind of life situation. And many of these methods are described in the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, this wonderful treatise that has 112 methods of tantric meditation. Traditionally, when we practice meditation, it is just that. It's a practice that we do in a single sitting, or maybe we do it as a series of sittings. And in this, we are learning how to become a witness of all these different phenomena that are happening to us: body, mind, and emotions. Now, once you have done this practice and you have found mastery of it, you can also apply it into any life situation. When we start out in meditation, we learn that there are different postures. So one posture could be that you have your feet on the mat in the way that I'm sitting, or maybe you want to go into half lotus. So you're putting one foot up on your thigh, or maybe you put your foot in between the lower leg and the upper leg. So you're sitting cross-legged. Your spine is straight. And this allows you to witness the energy of chi circulating in your body and not having any outlet for that energy because you're holding it within yourself. Of course, there's also the full lotus where you place both of your feet on your thighs. And this is very good because energy circulates with no leakage of that energy. And furthermore, you could cross your hands so that the left hand is underneath, the right hand on top. Bring your thumbs together. And again, this creates a circulation of energy between your right and left sides of the body, your inner male, inner female aspects. And in this position, you would close your eyes and simply become a witness. For a lot of people, this position is not so comfortable because we haven't been raised doing yoga. We haven't been raised to squat on the floor like we're raised basically sitting in chairs. So that develops a certain kind of physiology. So if that position is difficult, you can do the half lotus, and this is quite comfortable. It's usually advisable to put a cushion under our bum so the bum is raised, and that allows the belly to relax. So you relax your lower belly, that will automatically make the spine straight. It's better not to rigidly hold your spine, but rather help it to become straight by raising the bum and relaxing the lower belly. And then this is going to help you to sit comfortably in meditation. There are meditation retreats which are really valuable. For example, the traditional Buddhist meditation that was practiced by Buddha, which originates actually from the Vijnana Tantra. And there's also the Vipassana retreats, which were developed by Goenka and are spread all over the world. It's really, really helpful to do a 7-day or 10-day Vipassana retreat. Learn how to practice meditation in silence, in witnessing. Of course, you can also practice Zen or Zazen retreats, but this will become such a strong pillar for your spiritual path. Meditation and witnessing is by nature the masculine path of spirituality because men are naturally drawn to going within, going into his man cave, just hanging out without any thought. This is something very natural for men. For women, it's not calling so strongly. Of course, some women love meditation, but in general, the feminine is much more attracted to the path of love and devotion. This comes very naturally to us because we have the womb, which will give birth to the child. We have breasts, which will nurture the child. We're naturally drawn to love and nurturing. We are naturally drawn to being in devotion to the other, whether that's a child or our beloved, or maybe we're in devotion to a god, a deity. Whatever it is, the feminine thrives on love and devotion. Now, if you are traveling the feminine path of love and devotion, this will have an object of your devotion. You are surrendering your egoic small self to this object of devotion, whether that's a guru, a deity, a husband, child, but you are in a state of surrender and you are in a state of service. There's a beautiful sutra from the Vijnana Tantra that says, devotion frees, meaning devotion liberates. This is the shortest spiritual teaching ever given. Devotion frees. By following devotion, we dissolve the ego. We are deeply in service. And this in itself creates a quality of inner ecstasy. It naturally arises in the devotee because the heart is opening, love is expanding. We are giving all the place in our being to love when we become devotee. Now, if you are practicing the path of witnessing and meditation, or you are practicing the path of love and devotion, when these two paths meet, that is Tantra. In many Tantra practices, we are weaving together both meditation and witnessing and love and devotion, honoring equally the masculine and the feminine. If a man travels the path of meditation, witnessing, and he achieves enlightenment through that, he will flower into love and devotion. He will flower into his opposite. If a woman is traveling the path of love and devotion, and she attains to enlightenment through that, she will be flowering into witnessing and meditation. So we flower into our opposite. And that is mimicking the Ida Pingala, which crosses through the chakra system, crosses through the Shushuma channel, and meets at the crown chakra, which is beyond duality. So the whole spiritual path, whether you're traveling alone or in the couple, is about weaving together these opposite polarities, male and female, Ida Pingala, and bringing those into an alchemical union. So in Tantra, we will emphasize the opposites, meaning emphasize the masculine path, emphasize the feminine path, and then when they meet, it is an incredible, powerful transformation that takes place into a third dimension where you are opening beyond duality. And this is simply sublime, mind-blowing, and amazing. There are multitude of techniques, and you can find these in the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, in Osho's Book of Secrets, where it is described different kinds of meditation, whether that be ones using love and devotion, or whether that be ones using meditation and witnessing. Enjoy the Tantra path. It is the most deep, fulfilling, and enriching path that is possible for the human being. The method of transformation for today is about exploring the inner male, inner female, and how that's possible to do alone or in partnership. This is a very, very simple method and also tremendously profound. It can be practiced alone, with a partner, and also in sexual union. So I'm going to describe the method. If you are practicing this alone, you will need to use your creative imagination to imagine your inner man or inner woman in front of you. So if I'm a woman practicing this, I will imagine my inner man sitting in front of me, and we're going to be doing the practice together. Now, if I'm a man, I will be imagining my inner woman sitting in front of me. And now I describe how to do this circular breathing. If you have a man sitting in front of you and you are a woman doing the practice, with every in-breath, you are breathing the breath being passed from the Muladhara chakra of your male partner into your yoni. And you're inhaling that breath, breathing it in, bringing it up, long in breath, breathing out from your heart chakra and passing that into his heart chakra. So as you are breathing out from your heart, he is breathing in from his heart, as he is breathing out from his Muladhara, his sex center, you are breathing in through your sex center, circulating the breath. And you can even allow your body to sway and to move as you breathe. And this in itself is already very powerful. So you do this kind of breathing cycle at least 10 times. Then you're going to reverse it to honor your inner male, inner female. In this sense, you as the woman will become like a man, and your inner man will become as a woman. You're passing the breath from your Muladhara, from your sex center, into the man, and he is receiving that breath as his in-breath through his Muladhara, rising the energy, breathing out from his heart. You as the woman are breathing in through your heart, bringing it down, breathing out from your Muladhara. He's breathing in the Muladhara. He's breathing out of the heart chakra. You are breathing in through the heart chakra. So this is really profoundly awakening your inner male, inner female. Now, if it is a man doing the practice with his inner woman, that will of course be reversed. So just imagine I'm the man. I'm breathing out from my Muladhara. She's receiving the breath through her Muladhara. She's breathing out through her heart. I'm breathing in through my heart. So I'm giving from the base chakra and I'm receiving the breath through my heart chakra. After 10 times, we reverse it. So I'm receiving in my Muladhara and I'm giving the breath from my heart chakra. And 10 rounds like that. And then we come into Yabum position. In the Yabum position, the woman is sitting in the man's lap with her legs around the man, her feet touching behind him. And in that position, all your chakras are lined up. You can also join the third eye center and you begin the circular breathing. So the first 10 times, the man is passing the breath from his Muladhara, woman receiving it in her Muladhara, woman giving the breath from her heart chakra, man receiving in his heart, letting the body sway and move in that Yabum position. 10 rounds and then reverse the circles. So then the woman is receiving in her heart, giving from her sex center, man is receiving in the sex, giving from the heart, and at least 10 times in that way of circulating the energy. Now you can choose, if you are with a live partner, to do that second phase in Yabum in sexual union. So that is a possibility if you would like to choose that. So if you are doing it with a live partner, first you'll be sitting knee to knee. And as I described earlier, you will be circulating the breath. So the male is giving with his Muladhara, woman receiving the breath, breathing that in breath up, breathing out from the heart, and man is breathing in through the heart. 10 circles, then reverse it. So just in the same way that you are doing if you're alone, reversing that at least 10 times, coming into Yabum, then going back to the natural flow where the male is giving from the first chakra, woman receiving the breath, pulling it up, giving from the heart. He's receiving in the heart 10 times and then reverse these rounds. And of course, when you're doing it in Yabum, you have the potential to go into sexual union and third eyes together. So this is a very powerful method. It looks maybe complicated when I'm describing the breathing, but as you try it, you will come to understand, and I'm sure that you will fall into a wonderful harmony through this. And in the resources, this method is described, so you can read it, make sure you understand before you start practicing that. And of course, you have the option that one partner could indicate how the breath is moving with your hands when you are sitting knee to knee. So, in this way, you will be helping each other to fall in tune with the breath. So, this is one of the more simple methods, but also one of the more profound methods, because the in breath, as I said before, represents the male, the female, sun and moon, birth and death. It's very, very powerful when we align with the breath and we follow that. So I really encourage you to experiment with that, to practice it. And it's wonderful to do it as a series. So you could do it as a series of 7 times or 14 times and really go deeply into that process. If you are doing it either alone with your inner male, inner female, or with a partner, at a certain point, you can let go of the breathing technique and just go into spontaneous free flow with your energy, letting this powerful transformation that's happened move in and through you in unexpected ways. And this is a very, very beautiful and profound love experiment. Enjoy.